Hey guys, it's Blue Gal. Good morning. A little bit of housekeeping here. I am wearing my vituperative foul-mouthed blogger of the left shirt today. Thank you, Mr. Broder. And I have a stamp on my MoveOn.org contribution ready to go. Thank you, Senator McCain. Oh, you said drive them out of the country. I thought you said send them money. Okay, well, oops. I want to talk about race today, and I thought that I would show you a sweater that I knit a few years ago. It's a baby sweater. It's black and white, which is, I'm going to use this as kind of a metaphor. This is a Elizabeth Zimmerman pattern. Look at how the patterns match up from the sleeves to the sleeve to the body of the sweater, and then there's this more complicated pattern in the middle of the body of the sweater. It's a little Scandinavian jacket. It's got Scandinavian buttons, pewter buttons they're called, and the thing that makes this sweater a good what's the word I'm looking for, motif for talking about race relations is that when you're making a sweater for display or for a fair or whatever, the inside of the sweater has to look as nice as the outside. And I mean, this shows you what a knitting wonk I am, that even the sleeve facings are perfect, right? Okay. Yeah, type A knitter, that's me. I think that's what we're doing in race relations in America is we're making the outside look really good, or trying to, and inside doesn't look as good. I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. I'm prompted to talk about this in part by what came out on September 11th, where African-American woman in West Virginia was held and tortured by 6 white people, raped, stabbed, made to do all kinds of horrible things for 6 days that really can't even be discussed. And excuse me, every time they stabbed her they used the N-word. We know in our society that using the N-word is not something that we in polite society, polite, educated white society, do anymore. And yet there seems to be areas and levels of discourse where it's okay to say nappy-headed hoe, and it's okay to talk about kicking some ass when it comes to the bad Arabs, and it's okay you know, to hate Mexicans because they're all illegals, and to talk about Hispanics in general as illegals, as if a human being can be illegal. So I think we've got a long way to go to make the inside of our race relations look as good as we pretend that the outside looks. One of the things that I've been reading and thinking about is a brochure, and my house is such a mess, my desk is such a mess. There's a pamphlet that the Quaker group in Atlanta put out called Neighborhood Safety and Stereotypes. I actually just printed this off the web, and I'll link it at Blue Gal. This was a discussion group of the Atlanta Friends meeting, most of whom are white. And they wrote this brochure in response to a growing concern about racist behavior witnessed in predominantly white neighborhoods. Really, It turns out that they start out this really struck me. Imagine you are reading a report in your neighborhood newsletter about a suspected car thief. As the words jump off the page, you realize with horror that the description fits you, African American male. I'm as guilty of this as anyone else. I had a time where I was walking down a corridor, and an African American man was walking toward me and passing by me, and he said to me, "Ma'am, you don't need to hold your purse closer to your body. I'm not going to steal it." And I realized that, oh my God, that's what I was doing. We all are guilty of not being fully aware of our racial bias. And this pamphlet has some really good ideas about how one can increase, I hate the word awareness, because I think sometimes we think we can just increase awareness and then we're done, and we aren't taking action. I don't like, the whole cancer awareness movement and the autism awareness movement and all these awareness movements, and we're not really, it's not enough to just be aware. But this article talks a lot about what white people can do to acknowledge that white skin color is not the norm. It's not the norm in this whole world. And I think we have another step to take, and that is that we white Americans are not exempt. We're not exempt from dealing with the prejudices that infect everybody. We're not exempt from terrorism anymore, and let's remember, that started with Oklahoma City. That didn't start with 9/11. And a white American man was the first to attack a government building as a terrorist. And the 6 people in West Virginia who tortured this woman for 6 days were terrorists. The soldiers at Abu Ghraib who did unspeakable things, what were they? We're not exempt. We're not the good guys all the time. And we've got work to do. I have work to do. I have to, and again, there's another word I hate. Hillary's ruined the word conversation. We've got to start a conversation. I hate that word, but we've got to start talking about our own biases and what we find acceptable and what is not acceptable, and begin to heal it. This pamphlet also just talks about, if you see African American male on the news as a crime suspect, listed as an African American male. I mean, what if it was a white American male? Would you accept that as being an adequate description of a suspect? And yet it's perfectly acceptable to say African American male is a suspect. And that's just bad police work. I mean, that's just not even helpful. And it's racist. It's racist. And I think the last paragraph in this pamphlet, and again, I'm going to link this at Lugal, but use this test to help decide if behavior witnessed in a neighborhood or on the planet is suspicious. Would this behavior be suspicious if a white person was acting in this way? Or if you could replace the word white, replace the word black with the word white, or replace the word African American with the word white, would it make any sense? A white American male is suspected of breaking into cars on 12th Street. I mean, that's just not acceptable. It's acceptable to say a 6'4" white American male